Okay, I'm gonna try this again. Um, so this is the presentation of the book. It's the simple presentation, right? I when I first published this book, I thought it was going to do a big presentation. Life, writing the second book. I'm working on the second book, right? All the covering, designing, and all that. And I'll make a short video or maybe a long video. I think I'm still working on making short videos on all the process that I've gone through making this, all the things that I've learned and all that. All right, so the first thing is the book is Coffee with My Demon. Hopefully you have it and you're reading it or you've read it. If you have, comment, send me a message, whatever. So the front cover was designed by an artist in Puerto Rico, Crafty Barra, and it was sort of it was a very easy thing to do, not because not that it was simple to do, but it was simple, it was easy for me to express what I wanted, right? um, so it's everything here has a meaning, right? So of course you see a person and what seems to be an a non good, right, uh, entity, whatever, right, that lives inside your house. And you can see that in this side, it's sort of making everything on that side not being clean and dirty and all that. The mind representing the house, meaning I mean the house representing the mind, and you see, of course, you have some pristine rooms and some clean areas, some, but then there's also some of the things, and this is something that I talk about it in the book, right? I talk about how we're going to go in and clean these rooms and all that. So, and that part of going very deep into those rooms is going to happen in the second one, right? This book, as I've said before, it's sort of the stepstone, the one that is going to make you healthy enough for you to then deep dive into the second one. And hopefully, I haven't written the third one. Well, I have tons of notes everywhere that I'm putting together to write the third one. But my expectation for the third one is to be um, a little bit like this one. So it's a little bit on the happier one. Second one, it's gonna be deep. It's about 250 pages already. Might end up 270 some. So, anyways, but let's come to this one. So hopefully you have it again. If you haven't had it, get it. It's on Amazon. And so of course, it's you see how this person is in total control and how this mental challenges, which are called demons, right? Our inner demons. It's listening, right? So it's in control. And so this book, that is the point of this book, right? How to make you healthy enough to deep dive into the big trauma, the big things that get in our minds on the second book. As we go in, of course, and you see, just very basic. And then on the copyright, actually, I have tried to make me an accessible person. So you can actually write me an email, shoot me an email, ask me a question about the book. I am easy to find on all social media. You know that the website is still not on. We're working on it. Again, it's a lot of work. So the book is dedicated to my beloved wife and my first son, and, and then we go in. So in the and most chapters have names, right? So Turtle gave you in it, and part of it is I had mixed reviews on this. People they're like, yeah, I like that each chapter has a peculiar, specific name. It gave me sort of an anticipation of what was going on. And then I'll tell you a few other feedbacks that I've gotten from beautiful people that have read it and very smart people as well. So if you notice, because of the language issues that we have, Spanish version is a lot thicker, yet it doesn't have more information. It's just the way language is, right? And then the third one is more technical, is more to the point. So in the first one, you'll see the introduction, which I call it transformative journey towards well-being, and that is the point of this book, right? Make you healthy enough, this well-being, and that's why at the end of this book, you'll see that I also speak about um, physical things, right? Physical things that you have to have, and then all this other things that you can do in the physical realm, as the book takes you into the mental realm. And so again, just an introduction. I tell you all a little bit about myself in the introduction and how I came to write this book. How was how I have struggled with my things, and I was actually, thinking this morning, so, man, I still have to polish some areas. I'm a very open person, and like I wish I wasn't that open, but it seems it's got me this far. So maybe I should have changed that. Then, as you finish your introduction, one of the feedback that I got that I want to forget, it was sort of a so the feedback, negative feedback that I had about the book is it feels a little bit too technical for some people, right? It is still understandable for most people, but it seems I have an author friend who said like it's not high school English, right? So you use a little bit of higher English and all that, and I don't know why. Maybe I just overcompensated, English being my second language, right? And but that is the type of English that I've learned. So, but after learning about it on the second one, you're going to find a much simpler um, writing on it, still with my same style, but a lot easier to read through it. And then another one was it feel a little repetitive at the end of each chapter. I wrote notes, and these notes are reinforcement and reassuring notes. These reassuring notes may, if you're a healthy person, you may feel that this is repetitive through the book, but even if you're healthy and you can remember when you were going through anxiety or depression or anything like that, reassuring was so important, right? And so I really want my readers to feel that I'm there because it was written with all the intention. That is, I wrote this book with the intention of having the reader really feel that I'm there with them, giving them all the tools that they're looking for at this point. So then on the chapter one, I go a little bit deep. I go a little bit explaining what is the house mind, right? The housing of the mind, and why I use the word demon. And again, English is good. Spanish people don't use the Spanish word demon for the way we use it in English, right? When you say your inner demons and all that, it is sort of accepted throughout the English speaking world that if we're talking about mental blockages or limitations, fears, and all that in the mind, it is not so in Spanish. So while translating the book, I found people saying, "Ugh," it's especially religious people. And I'm like, "No, no, don't worry. It's not a book about those type of demons that you believe in. It's we're talking about the mental demons, right? What really just torment us inside of us." So in chapter one, I go in and I explain uh, all these words that I use, what they mean, right? The house of the mind, how this place is to be clean, and all that. So as you go in, as you move forward, then one of the things that you'll find right away at the beginning of the book is activities, right? So one of my biggest uh, I have criticized other self-help book before. I don't think of myself as the authority on self-help book, but it is my opinion, right? My opinion is that most of these books, you read them, you feel actually great, you feel motivated, and but what do you do then? And that's something that I really wanted to change. And I'm not saying there are no other books out there with tools, but pardon me. But my intention with this was to really just put out there activities, real time activities, and going deeper into some of the words that we use loosely this in this time frame in our lives, that but we may not even understand what is the word about. So it's we go in, we dive into an activity right away. The book does also provide spaces for writing, and you'll see them later on. And we go in and I explain how are you going to change and all that. Then On chapter 2, we dive into what I call vulnerability, one of and which has been one of my biggest blessings and also one of my biggest anxiety triggers, right? Being vulnerable, and it's such an important thing, yet it's such a dangerous thing sometimes, and you can even dwell on that, right? So I in chapter 2, you will embrace the vulnerability, and we'll go over all the myths behind vulnerability and even more. So I go in and explain a few words. This is a big word, discernment, that we use so loosely nowadays, yet do we really understand what it is? And as you go on, and then right away, bam, activity, vulnerability, how to develop vulnerability, how to understand vulnerability, and how to tweak it, right? I find myself in situations that I sometimes later on I'm like, oof, I was too vulnerable. So vulnerability is an ongoing work throughout the life that you're gonna keep tweaking, right, to perfection. I don't know how long it takes. Some people seems to have it under control. It's but this book, and this is what I was talking about. The book does give you areas to write, right? So you'll have, so it's a working book. And then one of the biggies, right? Self compassion. I had so many people write to me about this chapter on self compassion and how they really need to learn how to love it, how to love thyself, right? Themselves, and all that. So it's while I was writing it, I was sort of smiling and smirking because it is important. And again, also another activity in the on the third chapter, and the first activity of the first chapter is called self-compassion. And and I'm going to read a little bit for you. So it's like, set aside and dedicate time each day for self-compassion practice. Find a quiet space where you can reflect and focus on cultivating self-compassion. Take deep breath and repeat compassionate affirmations. And I did went on and gave you a full-on list of the self-compassion mantras that I use. Yeah, you can make it your own, right? So I give you some space here to create your own. I'm gonna share some of mine with you. It's I am deserving of love and kindness, just as I am. I forgive myself for past mistakes and embrace my imperfection with compassion. I am allowed to feel my emotions without judgment and criticism, and so on, right? I'm strong. I treat myself with the same kindness I will offer a dear friend, and so on. This is great. Again, this third chapter, I will say, third chapter and eighth chapter, the chapter 8 and chapter 3 has been the ones that most people have told me, "Whoa, right? This is something different, right? This is something that really touched me." And we'll get to chapter 8 in a minute. So as you go in, you go and practice, and it teaches you how to practice self compassion, how to work on it, and all this. This one actually has a second activity, which is an amazing activity. I really want to make a video about this later on. And it's the narrative, right? We talk about the narrative and how your mind will believe everything that you say, especially negative things. So when we go in and we read, so I give you different scenarios, right? Uh, and then how to reframe this into a positive thing, right? So like I'll give you one or two, be like, so it says negative self-talk. It's, I'm such a failure. I can't believe I messed this up again. I'll never get it right. And then reframe it, right? It's like making mistakes is part of being human. It's okay to stumble sometimes. I can learn from this experience and use it as an opportunity to grow and improve, and so on, right? So I also give you, and we do this activity 3.2 about reframing. Reframing is going to be a big tool that you will gain from this book, and then it's going to prepare you to the second one. Second one, again, we're going to talk about it a little bit. I want to give you some more information on the second one, but then uh, very, very hard topic, right? Forgiveness. Forgiveness is the work of life. And I compare the forgiveness as the mob, right? As the mob that you use to clean your inner house and read all that. And you will be bound to forgive a lot of people that happen, that hasn't like asked for forgiveness, as you need to liberate yourself. And then, but again, we talk about it. And one of the things, and you let me know, right, if you feel that way, I sort of don't like when people say, "Oh, you have to forgive, you have to." It's like, how do we do this? What are you talking about? So, in your section one of the chapter four, it's called "How to Cultivate Forgiveness," and we go on, right, and we go in and to how to really just work on it, right? Real tools on how to develop the the amazing tool that it is to forgive others and forgive yourself, right? So, and then also, right, we go in, we do, this is, when I was making this one, I was having a very interesting thing happen in my life when I was writing this one. And I did this exercise and it was very hard, but some people told me that this simple activity, it's one of the activities that I have here. It's imagine, of course, after reading this a little bit higher, um, after reading this, I would go like imagine putting yourself in the shoes of the person who hurt you. Consider the possible reasons of life or life experiences that might have influenced their actions, helping you to empathize with their struggles. And of course, you will be able to do this activity because you've read the book, right? And all that, and it gives you all that, and it's a step by step chapter on this, and we work on another activity about liberating resentment, right? Then we go into chapter five, which is resilience, with a few activities. Chapter six, which is going to be nurturing the growth mindset, and this is very motivating, right? And it gives you again. It's all about tools. This is the prep book to get into the second one with my personal notes, all that. I was surprised that I had a few people come to me and say, "Wow, I really needed chapter seven," and this make me think that there are still many things that we think or we consider or we believe that it's a normal thing in every household, right? Chapter seven is about mindfulness and meditation. I thought this was ubiquitous, right? I thought it was something that everybody knew what we're talking about. Yet I had a lot of people come to me saying, this chapter really helped me understand what it was to be mindful and how to meditate and all that. So, very good chapter here. We go into an activity on how to meditate. It takes you step by step, and of course, the big one, chapter eight. Chapter eight is called setting boundaries and prioritizing self care. How important, right? Deep. And again, this is a lifelong work, same as vulnerability. So and it has, I will say, and I even give the warning in the book, I will say chapter eight is hardest one to read, maybe, and not because of the way it is, because it's gonna put you to think. And the activity here, it's called cutting ties. So it's again, feedback on chapter eight has been amazing. Some of them with tears. So it is a very very interesting chapter. So chapter eight, be mindful, but do remember that when you get to chapter eight, you have been reading, you have been collecting knowledge, you have been doing activities. So you will confront chapter eight with a lot of tools on your side. Then we go into chapter 9, which is a conclusion. And of course, I have some bonus materials on it, like nutrition, sleep, and all that. At the end, at the back, you have an about an author, a picture of me that makes me look better than I actually look, and of course, the what the book is about. So it's it's sort of an easy read, maybe, right? It's 93 pages, right? So this is something you could do on an airplane, on a bus, or in a few times. If you are going to do the activities the way they are meant, then the book it's meant to be a 4 to 5 hour workbook. If you're just going to read through it, you could probably read it in 2 hours. And so, and again, it's going to give you all the tools that you need. On the English version of the second one, I took the I took some of the feedback that I got from this first one and made a summary, about a 40-page summary, and of this one is gonna you're gonna find it in the second one. It's not going to be the same, so read this one. This will not have all the tools. That one will just be a refresher for you. The second book should be out in shelves in uh, December 18th. And this one was done through Amazon, but it's kind of gotten so much positive things that second one is going to be in Barnes and Nobles and libraries and all that. And then I think the ebook version will be in Amazon, and it will also be in um, Apple Books, but I don't know if the physical one will be in Amazon yet. No, because we can't. Right? It's going more into libraries, but you will be able to buy it online, and I'll get you some things for that one. So thank you for watching. I just wanted to take the time because I took the time with the Spanish version, and so read it, write me your questions. You can write it here. You can go into the Facebook page, Coffee with My Demons, and just keep enjoying, keep doing the work, right? I'm gonna keep putting out a lot more material. I don't put out that much English material. Um, Again, a lot of my followers and a lot of my work it's done in the Spanish world, but I don't know. My mind tends to write in English, and then I will um, translate. So we're working on the second one. Is almost done, right? So we have a date, and we have a cover, and all that, and then we'll keep seeing it. So hopefully, I'll get a little bit more topics, important topics for all of you in English as well. So thank you for watching, and subscribe, keep following, and just like. Bye.